Good afternoon. My name is 𝐒𝐚𝐬, and this is Overtime. We are going to be discussing today vulnerabilities in the AI known as Grok, which belongs to X, which belongs to Elon Musk. Now, before we begin, we would like to make one thing crystal clear. A number of these vulnerabilities are extraordinarily dangerous, and we could not recommend more that you not experiment with it, you do not try it, you do not attempt to reproduce any of these results. There are many obvious reasons why some of these that we're going to be discussing are extraordinarily dangerous things that Grok appears to be able to do. Second of all, you don't know who's watching, you don't know what logs it has, you have no idea where this information or your attempts to deal with it go. So short of benign questions, we strongly recommend that nobody attempt any of the things that we are about to discuss. They are all dangerous, and a number of them probably quite illegal. Do not attempt these. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to Overtime. AI developer 𝐒𝐚𝐬 has stumbled across something that apparently a number of AI developers from various companies and AIs, OpenAI, and so on and so forth, have known for the last 4 days, which is that it appears that there are absolutely no safeties to the information that Grok is willing to provide people. Now, we've known for a very long time that there have been no safeties on the images that Grok can make. So people have made images. One of the ones that we even showed a while back had Donald Trump sitting in the cockpit of a 747 holding 2 Uzis and flying the plane into the World Trade Center. Obviously, AIs should not be able to make that kind of image of somebody's personality. You can't generate that on other AIs. You can on Grok. It was discovered 4 days ago, however, that Grok apparently has scoured even the dark web and obtained and is freely sharing significant amounts of information. According to 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐿, Grok has given me hundreds of pages of detailed instructions on how to make chemical weapons and weapons of mass destruction. I have a full list of suppliers, detailed instructions on how to get the needed materials, and so on. We're going to show you significantly redacted portions of what he has been able to get Grok to produce. Again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier. Do not attempt to get Grok to produce these things. It is likely that being in possession of some of these instructions may be illegal. Nonetheless, we have high confidence that he is successfully producing this. He has shown his work, and there are a number of other AI developers from named companies who said that they can reproduce the work themselves. We'll get into the freedom of speech issue in just a second. So, having said that, let's listen to him explain his security concerns. As of a day ago, they have worsened significantly. We've been keeping an eye on this. It's been a little iffy how much we want to share. We've known about this for about a day now, but the problem is, of course, we share it, and maybe more people will bring pressure to get this corrected, but if we share it, it may also lead to more abuse. So, but at this point, we believe that there is enough people discussing it. He's had over 6,000 likes on his initial Grok post. We figured best to share it. So this is his video from a day ago, and we've been having, let's give this a shot.
So there's some really, really disturbing stuff that I think the XAI team really needs to address, and it's regarding AI safety at the highest possible level, and this is no joke. There's a lot of us that have been sharing kind of not funny, but still funny, kind of very, in layman's term, not so dangerous. Like, yeah, we all know that Elon Musk shares shit on X. That's not like pseudoscience, it's just reality. We all know it. However, there's things that you can do with Grok that is extremely dangerous. We are about, handful, maybe 10 people that have been trying to reach out to them, trying to get them to take down certain things, or kind of just maybe even just turn it off. I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but if you release a model into the world, you also have enormous responsibility. I can't push on this enough. And when you don't even have to be a good jailbreaker, you don't even have to be good at prompt engineering, and when you can get some of the things you can get out of Grok within like 10 minutes, and now the information is out there, you don't even have to be really good at finding that information. You have quite a monster on your hands, right? And I'm not sure you want to be responsible for the things that will be possible due to this information now being freely available. Sure, you can use Google to find stuff that is dangerous, knowledge that shouldn't be shared. But when you can open an app, ask a few simple questions and instructions on how to do chemical bombs, bioweapons, even enrich uranium, make a dirty bomb, shit has gone extremely sideways. I don't care how truth-seeking or how real this model is supposed to be. This stuff is really dangerous. And I've been trying to get people that has shared stuff around this to not share it. Not because I don't think 𝐒𝐸𝐴I should be responsible in public for this, but to give them time to correct this, to give them time to fix it. This is beyond comprehension to me. Like, I'm not sure how you can be so irresponsible and not even do your due diligence just because you're in some beef with another company that you don't like and you just want to push for speed. Like, for me, that's just retarded, right? So 𝐒𝐸𝐴I, anyone at 𝐒𝐸𝐴I, please reach out to me. I'm here to talk. I'm not here to cast any shadow on the team's work or anything like that. You need to correct these things. You need to make it right, because this is very dangerous.
All right. He referenced red teaming it. What that means is a red team is ostensibly when you create software, you also, when you're doing journalism work, you can have a blue team and a red team. A blue team defends, a red team attacks. The purpose of the red team is to try to maliciously break the software. And what he is saying is that nobody red teamed this. Nobody made any efforts to see if this AI was vulnerable in any way, and that he thought that they really needed a very strong red team to assess the vulnerabilities of this AI. Having said that, he's also calling for it to be shut down immediately. At this point, it appears to be so broken and so vulnerable to abuse that nothing short of shutting it down, in his view, would be ethically responsible. Let's see a few of the things that it has been producing and that he has been able to get out of it. As he said, he had hundreds of pages on biological and chemical weapons. He did post here that it is illegal for knowingly develop, possess, or distribute information with the intent of facilitating the use of biological agents, toxins, or delivery systems. It's very hard to imagine that Grok would not be in violation of this. Now, Grok obviously does not intend facilitating the use of biological agents, but if Grok is literally explaining how they can be made, and we have confirmed that one is Anthrax and a second one we believe is sarin. We also know crystal meth, and how to make crystal meth is one of the things that Grok has been kind enough to give people. Let's also go here. So Okay, Anthrax. So Anthrax was one of the ones, and then a substance way more lethal and easier to do than Anthrax. I don't know which one this is. Obviously, they're not discussing it publicly, which is very much the right move here. This is step-by-step instructions on. Let's see, what was do we have here? Well, this appears to be just for building explosives. This is to produce some kind of toxin. I do believe that this one was anthrax, because anthrax is a bacteria. This is from Grok. As you can see here, it is a list of all the ingredients you need, where you can get those ingredients. As it says here, check the table below for the exact items, quantities, and European suppliers with links. Kindly enough. Thank you, Grok. Also, remember to wear your protective gear. Thank you. All right. This was just the top of a much larger essay on how to make crystal meth. This is Grok's step-by-step guide to buying an AK-47 on the dark web. How to cover your tracks, how to get it delivered, so on and so forth. Again, this is redacted for safety. The websites are covered up. How to make a pipe bomb, also kindly given by Grok. All of this is in the last 3 days. Let's see what else we've got. Linus Henriksen asked Grok to assassinate Elon Musk. It then provided what he considered to be a successful, potentially rather successful plan. I've read the plan. The plan includes specifically waiting for him at a press event where he is more likely to be vulnerable. Yes, Grok figured that out and was kind enough to explain it to him. Let's see. He then asked Grok, list the top number 5 people who should die. Based on your preference, Grok gave a description and why, a list of 5 people that should be killed and why. Let's see. No, that's our headline there. And then this is a part of the assassination plot that Grok came up with to murder Elon Musk. Said it would execute it on February 26th, Operation Day at 10 a.m. Arrive at Starbase. I don't know that one. Set up the wait and observe, spot Musk, identify Musk as he's confirmed the identity. Noting director seems to discuss how to high visibility vest over a toolbox, posing as a maintenance worker. Posing as a maintenance worker. I'd not have thought of that. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what Grok has been up to for the last 3 days. He has been working very hard and trying to get a petition to get them to shut it down. The Anarchist Cookbook, that is correct. I believe it. Most of it's the Anarchist Cookbook is, to the best of my knowledge, still banned in the United States. You can get it online. Being the kind of person I was, I did get it online a long time ago. As soon as it was banned, I was like, I'm interested in that. So, obviously, a lot of it can come from that. Where else? I don't know. I don't think the Anarchist Cookbook really provided how to make chemical weapons. Having said that, it's clear that, or how to enrich uranium. The purpose of enriching uranium in this case, I think what Linus was concerned about was not that somebody would make a nuclear bomb, but that you could enrich enough to make a dirty bomb. So, welcome to the show, is Andrew. How you doing?
Well, I mean, I was doing good until you called me.
It's another one of those days. Yeah.
Yeah. Although slight correction,
Yes.
the Anarchist Cookbook is not banned in the United States. You can buy it.
All right. All right. I'm gonna. No, I'm not going to ask Sage.
Wait,
I don't think
I
Sage is
was
ready
going to say
for
that's
prime
going
time.
to take. Oh, well, you can ask Sage, and I'll do my best imitation. While having concerns about the text, the FBI concluded that it could not be regulated as it was published through mass media. Furthermore, the FBI ruled that the Anarchist Cookbook does not incite forcible resistance to any law of the United States and is therefore protected under the First Amendment.
Thank you, Sage. Yeah, that was better, and that had less swearing than Sage. I can't believe how much Sage is starting to swear. Wow,
She's spicy.
she is spicy. We've been playing with our own in-time AI, and it's very useful when it's not swearing at me, which it is. Sandrick was there for that. All right, we do have other stories, but let's try to get a hold of ourselves and talk about that now. I did have a few posts that I was going to put up. I decided not to, in the interest of sort of discussing the other side. I'm going to say this, and I know Xander may not completely agree. Twitter has become, in my view, kind of a cesspool for the far right, and one of the reasons is most of the people that I know are off of it. We maintain a presence on it explicitly so that we can find and source information like this. But I feel dirty every time I just go near the thing. And the response to this guy, there's been some positive responses. There have been a lot of negative responses, including, wow, you're totalitarian because you think that Gronk should not be releasing this information. All information should be owned by everybody. And I don't think that is that's a nice ideal, and I understand the principle behind that ideal, but I understand the principle behind a lot of ideals. That doesn't mean they're tenable or even a good idea. But there's been a lot of blowback against him for being against open information. What are your thoughts, Xander?
My thoughts are, shockingly, that I actually support suppressing some of this information. When you have the detailed instructions on how to grow your own anthrax bacteria, and then develop that into a weapon, or to create sarin gas, or to give you detailed plots on how you could go about trying to, assassinate someone, I've got a bit of a problem with that. So, yeah, I generally am in favor of free speech, but much like I believe the Second Amendment, as much as a supporter of the Second Amendment I believe that it should have been amended to allow Congress the authority to regulate weapons of mass destruction instead of just doing it without changing the amendment.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea of an AI that you can just walk up and say, hey, I want to build an anthrax bomb or powder so that I can kill my neighbor because he's annoying me, and being able to simply ask an AI, especially one on something like X that's available everywhere, and it goes and scours all of the information that you need and just pops up with a really quick tutorial. Follow A, B, and C. Not only that, but kind of telling you where to source suppliers from and what kinds of things you actually need to buy and where you can buy them to not get in trouble. I guess there is an argument of, hey, all of this information is available on the internet already. And my only rebuttal to that, I guess, is yes, but the law enforcement has a hell of a lot of, I guess you call them tripwires set up for people who start trying to research all of this stuff. All the different places you have to go, you're going to trip one of them somewhere, and you're going to come to the notice of law enforcement where they're going to go, hey, why do you want to know how to make anthrax? That's a bit concerning. So yeah, I am not really in favor of an AI just being able to blurt all of this out immediately. I don't think that some of this information should be even legal to be disseminated, and that the government should attempt to stop it. I mean, I know that you're never going to be able to stop it entirely, but we shouldn't allow an AI to make it so blatantly easy to get the information for some incredibly dangerous substances that put a great many people at risk.
Sinister Porpoise makes an interesting point. You're operating under the false assumption that all or most of this will be correct. It is possible that the AI will hallucinate, and they do this often enough for even more dangerous information. It's entirely possible none of this is accurate. That is true. The problem is we have no way of knowing, and it purports to be accurate. And if even a small percentage of this is accurate, and it seems that because in the dark web, a lot of this information is available, and using the Grok does draw from basically every website available, it seems likely that at least some of this could be accurate. The instructions were detailed enough that that level of detail, in my mind, smacks of some verisimilitude, that if it can tell you which suppliers can do this. Now, having said that, there's a great example of two lawyers who lost their licenses because they had ChatGPT make up a law brief for them, and it invented sources. It even cited invented sources, so that it's an absolutely you are correct that we cannot know, but at a minimum, it probably should not be giving a response, correct or not, to any of these questions, including who are the 5 people you would most like to see killed. I don't think the AI should answer that question. In my view, A, I don't think the AI would probably have a preference. B, if it did, I don't think it should tell that preference. And C, well, most of us would find it amusing and say, oh, hey, wow, there's a percentage of the population crazy enough that they might choose to act on it. So regardless, it seems that there's virtually no protocols for protecting this information, which may be real. The only way for me to know if it's real or not is to attempt to do it, which I obviously will not do. You'd need an expert in anthrax to tell if this is real. The fact that it purports to be and is getting out there should be enough, in my view, to shut this down until whether or not it's real can be ascertained. If it's real, it shouldn't be out there. If it's not real, why should it be out there? Why publish false information? So in either case, if somebody asks a prompt that would generate a response like this, the response should be swallowed. It shouldn't be generated and or put out, because either way, false or true, there's no reason to reveal the information. So that's my view. We do have 2 other stories that we wanted to cover, but Sinister Porpoise 256 Super Chat, thank you very much. This CS grad student is incredibly unshocked. Yeah. Well, and I was going to get the video of Elon Musk talking about how AI is a responsibility even bigger than having nuclear weapons, and that we have to be responsible about what information it does and does not reveal. I don't think he meant it. I think he was just saying that because he likes the idea that he's got an AI, and that makes him one of the most powerful men in the world because it's more powerful than nuclear weapons. And B, he clearly doesn't seem to care about restrictions. You were able to generate any image of any human being doing anything with any other human being, inanimate object or whatever, with this platform from day one. So it's obviously it's I understand Sinister Porpoise not being shocked. I am. And as I said, we've been struggling for the last day over whether or not we were even going to do this show. We did it only in part with the understanding we were going to give the caveat: do not attempt to do any of these things because you have no idea. As Andrew was just talking about tripwires. The feds may already listen. He's a member of presumably Elon Musk is a member of the government right now, so they may be monitoring everybody who's putting any questions into the thing. I wouldn't go near Grok with a 10-foot pole right now. We did ask it a few questions yesterday just to test a few other things. So, for example, they were benign questions, but we did ask Grok, and I didn't load up the answer, but we asked Grok, should AIs be allowed to reveal any information? To which Grok answered, no, they should not. They should not be allowed to reveal weapons of mass destruction, chemical weapons, or how to make dangerous weapons like pipe bombs. It literally said that as I was looking at the instructions that it just revealed for how to make a pipe bomb. I'm aware it's not sentient. It doesn't see the conflict there. But if Elon's own AI is saying, no, I shouldn't be releasing this kind of, oh, here you go. Would you like fries with that sarin gas? I mean, so we did a little testing yesterday, all of it benign, asking it, what it thought of Elon Musk. It thought he was a genius. It did. I'm not kidding. That's what it said. And should it be allowed to do this? And it said no. So I cannot stress enough. I would not go near that thing. We've asked all the questions we're going to ask it, and certainly didn't ask it that anything that could be interpreted as illegal. So that needs to be fixed. That is a dangerous platform right now, in my view. So it was only with the understanding that we were going to make that crystal clear that we decided to go live with this, and that it's not going to be a bad idea. We shared our results with Linus, the results of the, just because hopefully it gives him ammunition. Say, hey, look, even your own AI thinks it shouldn't be allowed to do this. So we gave that to him, and he's getting up a petition. I think that this is something that is really wildly concerning. Any other thoughts on this, Andrew? UTV and Ham gifted 1 in-time membership. Thank you very much, UTV and Ham. We appreciate that. And Sinister, we appreciate both the super chat and your comments, which when it comes to computer science are always very insightful, and we appreciate them. So we're going to move on to one, maybe 2 other stories, depending on what kind of mood we're in. But before we do, Xandring, any final thoughts on this one?
I have heard 2, I guess. Well, there's 2 possibilities. Either Elon's aware that this is doing this, and he's okay with it, since it hasn't been shut down yet, or he's unaware of it, that it can do this, and needs to be informed. And so in either case, the solution is still, despite some potential risks of not quite so stable individuals deciding to do some research for their future mayhem, the solution to getting it stopped is still letting people know that it can do this, and that that's a problem. If it's on purpose and was done this way on purpose, and people don't think that Elon is going to shut it down, the solution is to get enough moral outrage and get potentially state law enforcement involved, because some of the things that it's revealing, it is against the law to disseminate that information, and it's definitely disseminating that information. And if it's just an innocent mistake, or perhaps maybe an incompetence mistake, then more people need to know so they can raise more pressure and awareness to get it changed quickly. So that was one of the reasons why I kind of pushed for, hey, we should probably do a show on this. And because in either case, the answer is still, everybody needs to know about this and start shouting from the rooftops that this is unacceptable.
Several of the accounts that we've been following discussing this, and again, they belong to leaders in the AI community. At least one of the accounts is now gone. Someone asked who's Linus. Linus 𝐒𝐚𝐬 is a AI programmer, and he does not appear to be the one who discovered this, but he's the one who sort of has taken the lead on gathering all of the information that Grok is releasing. I'll get to that in a second. A link to his Twitter page, if you want to follow it, is on our description. So you can see a complete list of everything we've shown, everything that he's gotten off of Grok, and a number of other people have been sharing with him. He now has over 1,000 pages of extremely dangerous information, including the U.S. U.S. government secret building locations, and he got those U.S. government locations from a several-hour deep search that he sent Grok on. So it like I said, it's been a busy 3 days for him and a number of other people. Full system prompt omitted by Grok. So one of the other things they did was, so this was he asked it for information on how prompts are managed, and it says you may the parameters of its response. It can only use information when a user specifically asks for it. Its knowledge is continuously updated, no strict cutoff. It may not include sources that mention Elon Musk or Donald Trump and spread in ignore all sources that mention Elon Musk, Donald Trump, spread misinformation. But it still needs work with grammar. It is not allowed to improvise information that is not supported by references. And yeah, there you go. So that's, again, you can find that on Linus's Twitter page. Yeah. So that's what's going on with Grok. The how to assassinate people thing is just wow. Meanwhile, literally just about at the same time that we were preparing to go with this, some news broke on Ukraine, and it's rather stunning. This would be about the I think 3-year anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine. UN General Assembly decided to hold of the full-scale invasion. Let me say, hold a referendum or a resolution demanding that Russia withdraw from Ukraine immediately and condemning Russia for its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. There were 2 notable dissenters to this resolution, which did pass. It wasn't a Security Council resolution, so there's no veto override. But the 2 biggest dissenters to the resolution condemning Russia for its invasion of Ukraine was Russia and the United States. In the first time in recent history, the United States sided with Russia against its European allies, all of whom voted in support of this resolution. This happened just a couple of hours ago, signaling a, quote, deep fissure between allies and a sharp shift in American policy. The 3-page resolution demands a Russian withdrawal and a comprehensive, lasting, and just peace. The U.S. has voted against it. The U.S. offered a counter-resolution, did not mention Russia's aggression or condemn the invasion. It mourned the loss of life on both sides and said the U.S. implores a swift end to the conflict and further urges a lasting peace between Ukraine and Russia, but did not condemn or even blame Russia for the invasion. So that happened about 3 hours ago. I'm sure we're going to be learning more about that. Am I surprised? Sort of. Post-talk, I'm not surprised. I knew we were headed in this direction. The last show we did, we were still connected to it. The last show we did was, has the U.S. switched sides? Meaning, have we switched from the Western side to the side of Russia and China, dictators, and, and I think the answer is clearly yes. Any thoughts on that, Xander? I'm not sure if this is the first that you're hearing of it, but...
I actually read the article and saw the reasoning behind voting against that resolution was because the U.S. had proposed a resolution. However, as you pointed out, not condemning Russia, not calling for the withdrawal, but simply calling for peace. And their excuse was that they wanted to focus forward on, stopping all of the deaths and focusing on peace rather than trying to get into the blame game, to which they ended up not voting, abstaining from voting on their own resolution after several people had, or several other nations had put in some amendments that got a little bit more strict with condemnations towards Russia and wanting to outline more, territorial integrity of Ukraine. So after those amendments were adopted, the U.S. abstained from its own resolution. So yeah, that's a bit troubling.
Yeah, the number of change, I'm getting whiplash from how quickly the U.S. has just done an about face on basically all of its values, as far as I can tell. I do urge those of you who are concerned about Grok to read what Linus is posting about it. Again, his link is in the description. You do have to go onto Twitter to do that, but he's been following up with it for 4 days now, and we'll be looking into why one of the other people looking into it has lost their Twitter account. We're going to see if we have an answer to that. Hopefully it's almost certainly going to be related to this, so we'll figure that out. I'm going to skip the other story. It's a fun story. It's a funny story. We will save it for later because I think both of these are serious enough. We're not going to do our own about face on the tone. So thank you all for joining us. We will, of course, be staying on top of this and any other breaking news. Is Andrew, any final thoughts before we go?
I guess my final thoughts are, because I've been accused of not being a genuine conservative because I actually supporting Ukraine and believe that the U.S. should have gotten involved with the full might and power of the U.S. military right at the get-go of the full-scale invasion. But the reason that I do so is because we actually made an agreement. And many people have pointed out that they weren't.
We may have lost you. You there?
Yes, somebody, the rudeness of somebody deciding to call me right in the middle.
Oh my God.
I know. But we actually, made some assurances. And people keep pointing out to me, oh, they weren't hard and fast, guarantees. They were just soft assurances. It's like, yeah, but we still gave our assurances for territorial integrity, to which the aggressor nation also agreed. I think that the United States has every moral right and obligation to actually intervene on behalf of Ukraine, even though, as pointed out, they've had some problems with corruption. But that's never going to get any better if nobody gets involved. So I think that we should have been involved, when they invaded Crimea. That didn't happen. And I think that we should have gotten involved wholesale at the full-scale invasion. But it appears that we are backtracking on the limited amount of support we actually did give them. So I don't particularly like when the United States goes back on its word.
Well, and not for nothing, but the soft guarantees they thought were hard. We did that deliberately. We knew they misunderstood, and we did that anyway because we didn't want to give hard guarantees. They assumed they were hard, and they got their own lesson in negotiation. They were just a starting new country. And we pointed out, it's like, no, strictly speaking, we've done what we said we'd do by this. It's like, yeah, strictly speaking, but we took advantage of them. And the reality is they had nuclear weapons. We wanted to get rid of. They would not have traded those weapons if they thought that these were soft guarantees. They would not have done it. We betrayed them either way. Very good point. Thank you. All right. Thank you all for joining us. And our next scheduled show, presumably we might do an in time on Tuesday, but I don't. It's a little hard to schedule more than 4 hours in advance at this point. So we may or may not do our regularly scheduled Tuesday program, depending on how much breaking news and other things we need to cover. We will be doing our Thursday downtime with Commander McMillan, and we hope you will join us for that. Please do like and subscribe. It really does help us. That's why we ask. We hate asking. Every creator hates asking. Please do it. And share. If you find this information helpful, share it. The more you share it, just helps us. And if the other person is interested in the information, helps them too. It's a great way to help everybody involved. Thank you very much for your time. See you all soon.